There's a monster inside you, not one of chaos, but of potential, and it's not laziness or fear that's keeping it asleep. It's the lack of discipline, the absence of structure, the refusal to voluntarily carry the weight of responsibility. You are not weak because you were born that way. You remain weak because you have not chosen strength. And make no mistake, discipline is the birthplace of strength. Without it, your potential rots into regret. You want to be unstoppable, then discipline is not a suggestion, it is a demand. We often think of discipline as restriction, as rules, rigidity, and routines that confine us. But the truth is far more paradoxical. Discipline is what creates freedom. Imagine a pianist who never practiced the fundamentals. Without discipline, he cannot create beauty, he cannot improvise, he cannot soar. In the same way, if you lack self-control, your freedom becomes chaos. Freedom without discipline is not liberation, it's slavery to impulse. Structure, voluntary, meaningful structure is what gives you the ability to act with precision and confidence in the world. Discipline is not the enemy of creativity, it is its foundation. If you want to build a life worth living, you must first build the container to hold it. That container is discipline. You have an image in your mind, a version of yourself that you secretly admire. Maybe it's stronger, sharper, more composed, more respected. That version of you doesn't emerge from comfort. It is forged through the fire of repeated, disciplined action. When you get up early even though no one's watching, when you stick to your diet, when you say no to the easy path, you're not just surviving, you're becoming. Every act of discipline is a vote toward the person you want to become. The disciplined man or woman walks with a different posture, not out of arrogance but out of earned confidence. You don't fake your way to self-respect. You earn it in private, through your habits, through your struggle, through your refusal to let comfort steal your future. The world is chaos, it always has been. Disorder, unpredictability, hardship, these are constants. But when you're disciplined, you don't fear chaos, you organize it. You bring order to it. A disciplined individual walks into a storm with resolve because they've trained themselves for hard things. They don't crumble when the environment changes. They adapt. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on identity, on their core, which was built through hard choices. Think of the warrior who sharpens his sword before the battle. That's what discipline does. It prepares you for life. It builds a resilient mind, a focused heart, and a soul that does not yield to every emotion or impulse. You don't become unstoppable by chance. You become unstoppable because you have trained for it. A meaningful life is not built on pleasure or ease or applause. It is built on responsibility, on shouldering a burden voluntarily and refusing to collapse under its weight. That's where meaning lies. In the sacrifice, in the choice to do what is right, not what is easy, in the decision to show up even when you're tired, scared, uncertain. And when you live that way with discipline at the center, something incredible happens. You stop being distracted by trivial things. You stop chasing approval. You begin to see your purpose clearly, and you walk toward it without apology, because you are not chasing motivation. You are living by principle. You have become the kind of person who does what must be done, not when it's convenient, but always. That is power. That is stability. That is the beginning of an unstoppable life. We tend to misunderstand discipline. We treat it like a cage, a form of self-imposed prison that limits our desires and restricts our happiness. But that perception is not only incorrect, it's dangerous. Because in truth, discipline is not what binds you. It is what frees you. Discipline is the structure that allows you to move confidently in the world, to act with purpose, to create a life of depth rather than a series of fleeting highs. It's ironic, isn't it? The very thing people avoid because they think it limits them is the only thing that will ever set them free. Without discipline, life descends into chaos. You might feel free in the moment, free to indulge, to procrastinate, to avoid responsibility, but that freedom is false. It is a mirage. Eventually, the consequences catch up. The missed opportunities, the broken commitments, the wasted potential, they don't just pass you by. They define you. And once that happens, you're no longer free. You're a prisoner of your own inconsistency. Every time you act impulsively, you surrender a piece of your power. You hand over your future to whatever feeling happens to dominate you in that moment. There's no strength in that. There's no freedom. Discipline, on the other hand, allows you to choose your future. It gives you the power to act beyond the pull of emotion or temptation. It builds within you a core, something immovable, something solid. You become someone who can be counted on, not just by others, but by yourself. Think about how rare that is. How many people do you know who actually do what they say they'll do? How many people keep promises to themselves when no one else is watching? That's what makes discipline sacred. It aligns your actions with your values, even in private. More than that, discipline is the key to mastery. Whether it's art, sport, business, or personal growth, no greatness is achieved without discipline. The most skilled people in the world are not the most talented. They are the most trained, the most consistent, the ones who showed up on the days they didn't feel like it, the ones who turned practice into identity. Because when you master discipline, you don't just improve at tasks, you evolve into someone worthy of trust, respect, and freedom, and that is a power no one can take from you. There is a version of you that exists only in your imagination, stronger, sharper, more composed, more disciplined. It's the version of you that you admire in your quietest moments, the one you picture when you think about who you could be if everything aligned. That ideal self isn't a fantasy, it's a possibility. But it's a possibility that requires effort, sacrifice, and above all, discipline. You don't just stumble into becoming someone admirable. You earn your way there, inch by inch, through thousands of disciplined actions that no one sees and no one celebrates. Every time you get out of bed when it would be easier to hit snooze, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. Every time you resist the urge to procrastinate, to escape responsibility, or to take the easy route, you affirm your commitment to becoming that person. That's what discipline does. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, but it is transformative. It builds you from the inside out. It strengthens your character in ways that no applause or praise ever could. Because it doesn't depend on how you feel in the moment, it depends on what you've decided matters most. The truth is, most people never become the version of themselves they admire because they're waiting for motivation. But motivation is fleeting, it's unreliable. Discipline, on the other hand, is a decision. It's a code. It's the standard you hold yourself to, even when no one is watching, especially when no one is watching. The disciplined person doesn't need to be told what to do. They don't need external pressure. They have internal order. They act in alignment with their goals, even when it's inconvenient, even when it hurts, even when no reward is immediately visible. And that changes you, not just your habits, but your identity. You start to see yourself differently. You begin to trust yourself, and that trust is everything. It fuels your confidence not because you think you'll succeed at everything, but because you know you will try with everything you've got, you'll show up, you'll keep your word, you'll stay the course. And when you start living like that, something incredible happens. Others begin to trust and respect you as well. Not because of how you speak, but because of how you live. And the person you once imagined becomes the person you actually are. All because you chose discipline. The world you inhabit is not neatly organized. It is not gentle, predictable, or fair. It is filled with randomness, with difficulty, with unexpected storms. In short, it is chaotic. And chaos left unmanaged will devour you. It will dismantle your plans, derail your progress, and crush your confidence. That's why discipline isn't just helpful, it's vital. Discipline is the sword that cuts through chaos. It's the order you impose upon disorder. Without it, you are at the mercy of the world. With it, you become a force that can confront chaos and shape it into something meaningful. When you're undisciplined, life feels overwhelming because you're constantly reacting. You're constantly behind, constantly cleaning up messes you could have prevented. constantly apologizing for what you didn't do instead of being proud of what you did. That reactive state creates anxiety, confusion, and self-doubt. You're not steering the ship, you're being tossed around by the waves. But when you bring discipline into the equation, everything changes. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop surviving and start leading. You become proactive, intentional, grounded. A disciplined person has already wrestled with chaos in private. They've faced their own laziness, their own excuses, and their own darkness. They've fought internal battles and chosen order over indulgence, responsibility over comfort, structure over chaos. Because of that, they're equipped to face external chaos with a calm and focused mind. They aren't shaken by unexpected change or crushed by pressure because they've trained for this. They don't need perfect circumstances, they bring order with them wherever they go. Discipline sharpens your perception. It clears the fog of emotion and impulse. It teaches you to act with purpose, even when everything around you feels uncertain. That kind of clarity is rare, and it's powerful. It allows you to keep your commitments when others falter, to maintain your focus when others are distracted, to build progress where others see only problems. You become the kind of person who walks into disorder and builds a system, who faces complexity and finds a path forward, who doesn't collapse under the weight of unpredictability but grows stronger in response to it. This isn't theory, it's how real change happens. You won't always be able to control the world around you, but with discipline you can control how you meet it. You can control your behavior, your habits, your preparation, your mindset. That is your power, and that is how you conquer chaos. A life without discipline may offer short-term pleasure, but it rarely delivers lasting meaning. Deep down, we all sense that meaning is not found in comfort or ease, but in responsibility, in the burdens we willingly carry, in the tasks we choose to commit to even when they are difficult. Discipline is what leads us to those responsibilities and keeps us faithful to them when the emotions fade. It is the internal compass that pulls us toward growth, toward sacrifice, toward something greater than momentary satisfaction. If you want your life to matter, discipline is not optional, it is the very gateway to meaning. When you live without discipline, your time is consumed by distractions. Days become weeks, weeks become months, and before long, you're left wondering where your life went. There's a kind of quiet suffering that comes from drifting through life like that, doing what feels good in the moment, but never building anything of substance. You know you were made for more, but every time you say yes to convenience and no to commitment, you trade that more for mediocrity. Discipline changes that. It redirects your focus. It forces you to ask better questions. What should I be doing? Who should I become? What can I build that lasts? These are not easy questions. They demand something from you. They demand that you delay gratification, that you face your fears, that you confront your weaknesses honestly. And that's where discipline becomes transformational. Because when you consistently do what is hard, what is right, and what is necessary even when you don't feel like it, you begin to live with a deep sense of alignment. Your actions begin to match your values. Your life begins to reflect your principles, and that alignment produces meaning. There is a kind of quiet pride, a sacred dignity that only comes from discipline. It's not about looking impressive or checking off goals. It's about knowing in your soul that you are not wasting your potential, that you are not hiding from your responsibilities, that you are facing life head on with strength, humility, and purpose. Meaning is not something you find, it is something you create. And discipline is how you carve it out of the chaos of your circumstances. Without discipline, life may be easier, but with it, life becomes worthwhile. Discipline is not just a personal habit, it is a foundational principle that determines the trajectory of your entire life. Without discipline, you remain at the mercy of emotion, distraction, and the ever-changing chaos of the world around you. With it, you become a centered force, capable, focused, and reliable. the world does not reward the person with the most potential. It rewards the one who has trained themselves to show up, to persist, to execute, and that training is built moment by moment through disciplined decisions repeated daily. It is not dramatic or flashy, but it is powerful beyond words. When you choose discipline, you are choosing to take responsibility for your life. You are refusing to be a victim of your circumstances, your moods, or your excuses. You are becoming the kind of person who can build something meaningful, a career, a relationship, a legacy. This choice will cost you. It will cost you comfort, ease, and the illusion of freedom that comes from indulging every whim. But in return, you will gain something far greater: integrity, direction, strength, and self-respect. Discipline is the path that transforms you from who you are into who you are capable of becoming. The journey will not be linear. There will be days you stumble, days you regress, days when the world throws more at you than you think you can carry. But that is the very point of discipline. It prepares you for those moments. It gives you something solid to stand on when everything else is uncertain. When others panic, you will be steady. When others give up, you will persist. You won't need external praise to keep going, because your identity will be rooted in something far stronger than applause. Your character, your consistency, your code. In the end, being disciplined is about more than productivity or achievement. It's about shaping a life that has weight, that has substance, that commands respect. It's about becoming unstoppable, not because nothing can hurt you, but because nothing can break you. You'll still feel fear, exhaustion, and temptation. But you will act anyway, and that's what makes the disciplined person so rare and so powerful. They are the builders, the leaders, the examples. If you want a life that matters, a legacy that lasts, and a version of yourself you can be proud of, start with discipline. It will change everything. Absolutely. Here's a thank you and goodbye note that you can use at the end of your video or speech upload. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Your attention, your presence, and your willingness to grow through content like this means more than words can express. Every second you invest in your personal growth, in your discipline, and in building your inner strength brings you one step closer to becoming truly unstoppable. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Your support helps spread powerful ideas to more people who are ready to change their lives. And if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss another life-changing message. Keep showing up, keep pushing forward, and remember, the disciplined version of you is the most powerful version of you. Thank you once again, and until next time, stay strong, stay disciplined, and keep rising. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.